Much. And are there any members of the public who wish to comment on these items that we'll be discussing in closed session? Hearing and seeing none, we will move into closed session. Buddy, I'd like to welcome you to a regular meeting of the Madera County Board of Supervisors. Today is Tuesday, July 11th, 2023. The first report will be by County Council on closed session items regarding any action taken.
Chairman, members of the board, there is no action from closed session.
Thank you very much. We'll now move into the portion of our meeting where we open and close the meeting in memory of various individuals. And I have a couple of people I'd like to mention today. One is a former high school classmate of mine and a member of the Madera High basketball team, Leonard Lara. He passed away on June 29th at age 65. So just like to pass along my condolences to his family here in Madera and friends, as well as I'd like to remember Bill Alicini, age 88, passed away on Friday. Again, a longtime Maderan businessman. I think he was got the Lifetime Achievement Award back in the year 2007. So I'd like to pass along my condolences and remember his family as well. Are there any other individuals anybody like to remember this time?
Yeah, yes, I've got one. Thank you. I was hoping we could open and close in memory of Gertrude Davis. She was the oldest living member of the North Fork Rancheria at age 96. She lived through, no water, no power, no electricity, no utilities, boarding schools, just kind of a symbol of resiliency for the tribe, and will surely be missed throughout the North Fork community.
Yes, very good. Thank you. With that, we'll move into our invocation and Pledge of Allegiance. Pastor Dennis Sylvester of First Assembly of God will be presenting the invocation, and many of you will probably recognize Dennis. He's also a very active member of our law enforcement chaplain services. And I'd also like to, as far as the Pledge of Allegiance, I'd like to ask Diana Palmer, a member of the Madera County Planning Commission and former council member of the city of Chowchilla, to deliver the Pledge of Allegiance.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, everyone. Would you join me in prayer? Our Heavenly Father, as we address you today, we look for what you have for us. We need your blessing. And specifically, I pray for the servants of this community and the citizens of our community. We want the blessing of the Lord. We look to you, and we pray today also that the cordiality and the spirit which we transact business today would be well and good. And we just pray and claim your blessing. Thank you for your help in all regards of our life. Amen.
Everyone stand, ready, salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you. Ann and Dennis. This is the time in our meeting when we open up for public comment. The first 15 minutes of each regular session are set aside for members of the public to address the board on any matter under the jurisdiction of the board, but not appearing on the agenda. The board will not take action on any items presented under public comment. Speakers are limited to 3 minutes. Anyone addressing the board is asked to print their name clearly on the speaker sheet at the podium and state their name and county of residence for the record. Are there any individuals like to provide public comment? And I see somebody who's run up here very anxious to give public comment.
I don't like lines. Tracy Kennedy, your treasure tax collector. And with me today, I have Jackie Torres, which is my assistant treasure tax collector, and Jeevan Basra from my office has been doing a lot of our unsecured collections. So I'm here to tell you our unsecured tax bills are out. Yay. Our unsecured tax bills are for business assessments, aircraft, possessory interest, who pays a business assessment as if you have a restaurant or, and you have stoves and ovens and things of that nature. The assessor's office, they put a value on that, and then we tax you every year for that. And then also Jackie's going to tell you a little bit about the reminder notices that we just sent out too for the.
Hi, Jackie, your assistant treasurer tax collector. So this year and in the packets,
hand them out.
yeah, Regina handed. We have included our unsecured reminder notices. These are the tax defaulted payments of who did not pay their property taxes within the last fiscal year. And for your guys's record, we've also included the tax inserts that go in with these bills, because over this last fiscal year, we noticed that you guys are getting contacted by the constituents asking about the CalFHA program. It is a legitimate program. The yellow insert in all the tax bills, we highly recommend that everyone who is having trouble paying their property taxes or defaulted on their mortgage, contact the state of California to apply for the program. It is free for them to apply. There is no fee, and they will cover up to $80,000 in deferred payments, defaulted mortgages, and defaulted taxes. So from this program alone, Madera County did receive 40 tax payments for just over $200,000 that helped Madera County residents get caught up and off of the tax sale and out of delinquent status.
Excellent.
And then Jeevan, I don't know if you want to say a few words. He has been going out into the field and making contact with some of our delinquent unsecured restaurants. Do you remember who you've seen in the last 4 or 5 days?
Well, I've done a few site visits to like the Stop and Smoke shops, South CC Market, a bakery. So I've just been going around informing businesses of the assessments that they owe. A lot of the time so far that I've noticed is a lot of people aren't aware that they owe those business assessment taxes. So to do the site visits has been a great experience, and like helping the community learn about what they owe.
I'm sure they're really happy when you inform them they owe money.
I said you might be getting a few, find out about a few good taco shops and things like that, you know, while you're out and about.
Supervisor.
Tracy, thank you for providing this information and for having it in Spanish. Can we get the electronic version sent to our office so we can help spread the word?
Yes, thank you. And so last year we did really great collections that ended in June 30th. So we sent out this year 2,400 tax bills, unsecured tax bills, unsecured, which is business assessments, worth $11 million in taxes to the county, right? Last year we did 9.7 million in unsecured taxes, and we collected all but 360,000. So our collection rate for unsecured taxes last year was over 96%, which is remarkable. I don't know where Joel is, but he should be tickled to death. Where is Joel? Joel.
Joel's in Croatia. I don't. think
Oh,
he's
well,
right
he's probably logged on by now.
Yeah.
Hi, Joel. So, so anyway, they have done an excellent job of outreach. And, you know, unfortunately, a lot of people don't understand unsecured taxes. They don't understand what they're for. They don't understand why they're getting a bill. And a lot of times businesses, they change hands and we might not know it. So he's been finding out when he goes in there to talk to somebody, they say, oh, well, this is not me. This is not my name on this tax bill now. So then that, you know, sets the wheels of progress in motion. And so then he comes back, we contact the assessor's office, and so that they're able to make some corrections. But anyway, January 1, it's all of who owns what on January 1, 2023. That's the lien date. So for those of you out in the field, you'll say, oh, I got rid of my business in March. Well, it's too late. So anyway, any other questions?
Very good. Thank you
All
very
right.
much.
Thank you.
All right. Great presentation.
The mic.
First and foremost, I just want to say good morning. I've never really formally introduced myself. My name is Gracie Lepper, and I'm here on behalf of our Madera IHSS providers. It's an honor and a privilege to welcome on all of you at the end of the day, to bring the awareness that we are here to be of service to others. And I have dedicated these next 10 years to be of service to others, to keep myself accountable, because I like to think that our team, including you and I and our team behind us, is working hard to leave the world a little better than we left it this morning. And I commend myself and I carry myself with the utmost respect, because at the end of the day, I'm going to tell you, we're all going out like we came in with nothing. And the love that we give our providers in order to live a little longer. I speak of one of my providers that couldn't be here today because her husband's in his final days. And that is what gives me the courage to come up here and let you guys know that it's all about helping one another at the end of the day. And I have a few providers that like to just say hello and continue that open conversation. And again, I thank you from the bottom of my heart for your time of what you do for all of us.
Morning Supervisors. My name is David Rodriguez and I'm an IHSS provider for my wife of 38 years. Thank you.
Buenos días, Board the Supervisor. My name is Alma Urena. I work here for IHS for 70 years. No, my English is very well, pero yo este trabajo lo tengo haciendo por 17 años, soy proveedora.
I have been a provider for over 17 years.
Y este trabajo lo he hecho con mucho amor. Yo disfruto haciendo mi trabajo y lo hago con el corazón.
And I've enjoyed doing the work that I do. I do it with all of my heart.
Y les quiero agradecer a todos ustedes por aprecio su tiempo que nos están brindando a todos nosotros de la Unión.
And I want to thank all of you for dedicating the time for the union,
Gracias por
for everything.
Hello, my name is Sanchez. I'm the resident, and I just want to thank you all for coming today, for everything that you guys been doing. I want to thank my mom, Socorro Sanchez, and my son. Mother's my provider, and I'm really working hard for this, for my recovery, so I won't have to suffer anymore because of my mom's age too, when you're burdened for her to be, safer and not always be taking care of mine. I had surgery. Everybody here and the IHS always being side and the union also has to never let us down. Thank you.
Buenos días. Me llamo Guadalupe Cerritos y soy proveedora de mi esposo, Álvaro Zamora. Le doy las gracias por su tiempo y consideración hacia los proveedores del IHSS. Gracias. Good morning. My name is Guadalupe. I am a provider for my husband, and I want to thank you for your time and consideration for all of the providers of IHSS.
Buenos días, mi nombre es Joaquín López, soy del condado de Madera, soy proveedor de hace 12 años, cuido a mi mamá, tiene Alzheimer, que ha sido fácil, no ha sido fácil, pero con batallas y con la ayuda de ustedes vamos a sobresalir adelante. Gracias por escucharnos.
Hello, my name is Joaquin. I have been a provider for 12 years and I take care of my mom who has had Alzheimer's. It has not been easy, but when we work together, we can make.
All right, thank you.
Good morning, Chairman, members of the board, Jared with Public Works. Just want to take a quick second to give you a little report out on our household hazardous waste event we had on the 24th of June up there in Oakhurst. We saw about 270 residents at the event this year over the 4-hour period. Collected about 15,000 pounds of hazardous waste. We were able to give out free funnels for oil changes, which was kind of nice. And then also collected about 40 yards of e-waste. That's electronics. And then a certain amount of about 13 to 14 boxes of oil and latex paint. So overall, a good turnout for the event this year. And we're looking forward to doing the next one and providing that opportunity, and thank all the public for the patience. We're there and waiting in line. I know sometimes it gets a little bit hectic, but appreciate it.
Very good. Thank you. Fantastic. Are there any other individuals like provide public comment? Anybody on the web?
Nobody on?
No. Okay, well, we will go ahead and close public comment and move on to the consent calendar, and matters listed under the consent calendar are considered to be routine and will be enacted by one motion. Just a editorial, just because they are considered routine does not mean that your board of supervisors and staff have not thoroughly reviewed what's on the consent calendar. With that, are there any items that a colleague of mine like to pull for further discussion? None. Okay. Any members of the public have any comments in regards to the consent calendar items? If somebody does, they just need to come to the Dennis, I saw your hand up. Was that, oh, you're just, okay, waving. Okay, good. All right. With that, I will bring it back to the board for action.
I'll move to approve.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call vote, please.
Supervisor Gonzalez.
Yes.
Supervisor Wamhaugh.
Yes.
Supervisor McCauley.
Yes.
Pro Tem Poitras.
Yes.
Vote passes 4-0.
Very good. Thank you very much. Now we'll move on to discussion items. Item 6A. This is a presentation and proclamation and commendations to Sharon Diaz for the distinguished services to the County of Madera upon her retirement. It looks like we have Deborah Martinez attempting to get past the blockade up there.
Now it's on. So Deborah Martinez, Director of Department of Social Services and the Public Guardian. It's my pleasure to be here today, and I really appreciate Pro Tem Poitras and the rest of the board, our CEO and our County Council, in taking this time to acknowledge Sharon Diaz, one of the best hires I've ever made. She's my Deputy Director over our self-sufficiency, which is our CalWorks, our Medi-Cal, our CalFresh, and works very closely with my Public Guardian's office. Sharon has been instrumental in my ability to do my job. I really appreciate the fact that everything that she's done in over her 30+ years. And so thank you. I know we have a proclamation, and I want to give some time for Sharon to say some words, and also her peers who are her deputy, Steve Duckworth and Dr. Danny Morse.
Good morning, Steve Duckworth. So Sharon's been with us for 30 years, and I know her family's out here, some of her family's out here, and as is her, some of her peers and some of the people that she's supervised and worked with in the past. And I can say on my behalf and on behalf of so many others that she has supervised and worked with over the 3 decades that she's going to be greatly missed. Her presence in the office has been instrumental for us to do our jobs and to make our jobs fun. She kept everything as light as possible, but she was serious as can be when it called for that. So I know her family has, there's many nights that she worked weekends and she worked holidays, and her family had to sacrifice as well over these 3 decades. And so I can't say enough about her work ethic and about what she's given to this community, and not just the employees, but all the families she's served. Oftentimes in our profession, unlike other professions like teaching and stuff, where you hear feedback from students that come back 20 years later, we don't often get that in our world. But there are so many families that she's impacted that she's probably not even aware of over these long years. So we want to send her off. And I know this is going to be a week to celebrate her, this final week of her employment with us, but we'll see her down the road as well.
Ditto to what Steve said, Danny Moore, Deputy Director. When I arrived in Madera a little over 12 years ago, Sharon was a social worker in our department, and she was a spitfire. When I came in, She wanted to ensure that we did things for our elders that we weren't doing before. And the transformation we've gone through over the years has been astronomical. Sharon is recognized not just in Madera, but she's recognized statewide and nationally on her work she's done for our elders and improving the lives of elders and making sure they're in the forefront of everyone's lives. And we know that the elder population is growing, and Sharon was in the forefront of that and making sure we knew that and prepared for that and had a workforce to meet their needs, not getting ready, but we're ready when we started to increase. And so I thank Sharon for that and educating me on the needs of the elders when I came in. And I too have a passion also now of working both for children and adults. And Sharon has that same passion. I know she's going to continue to do that in our community and throughout the valley as she grows and able to do more, and not just in Madera. So I thank you guys for allowing her to serve 30 years with our county and to give so much. And now she can spend time with her family, but also give back to the community.
Morning. So for those of you that know me, I'm never at a loss for words, really. So, but I am a little bit right now. My peers, I want to say thank you first to the board and to my community for letting me serve for 30 years. It's been an honor. And to my director for giving me an opportunity, not only to continue my career, but to promote within our ranks. It's been a pleasure. And to my peers for putting up with me, because yes, I am often light and joking, but you know, it is sometimes serious business what we do. And so I feel like we have to have that balance, right? So hopefully we'll continue to have that balance within our division. I have some of my managers here, which kind of surprised me this morning. So I'm happy to see them. My family is here. Danny's not wrong. Over the years, I've spent, you know, some Christmases with some kids we picked up in the middle of the night, and some Thanksgiving delivering dinners to elders who were home alone. And they have forgiven me for that and been supportive. My husband, my mother, my kids, my grandkids, all just, you know, it's a family affair, right? When somebody works this kind of work. So I appreciate that. But, you know, all good things must come to an end, right? So here I am, ready to move on to something different and a little bit more flexibility in my life, not having the phone connected to my hand constantly. So thank you though, and thank you to our community and to my wonderful staff. By the way, DSS has the best staff of, and I'll say this in front of everyone, of any other department, right? So yes, I know we do. So with that being said, thank you very much.
Thank you. So thank you so much, Sharon. And we definitely appreciate your career. And I mean, just this little ceremony today doesn't, you know, do justice to all that you've done and the great sacrifice. You know, we have a proclamation here and it's got a bunch of stuff on it. I mean, it practically has a job description, and I don't think anybody needs to hear that. But to me, there's one paragraph that really, I think, touches and really focuses on your impact. And it says, by virtue of her dedication and compassionate and consistent work ethic, Deputy Director Sharon Diaz has gained the support and well-deserved respect of peers, state and local partners, and staff of the department. And when I see has earned the well-deserved respect, there's a lot of people that have 30-year careers, and maybe their position has a respect, but they haven't earned the respect. And it just kind of shows who you are, and again, this compassionate, dedicated work ethic that has caused this to happen, and in the great leadership you've displayed. So thank you so much. Are there any other comments from my colleagues?
Yeah, Rob, I do have one. And Sharon, I don't know you, but I hear the stories, and well, you know, just the type of work that you do and being able to do that for 30 years. I'm in law enforcement. I've worked closely with the office, and when you said, you know, taking dinners to families on Christmas and those types of things, it really strikes a chord with me, because the impact of those things that, and I think Deborah said this as well, there'll be impacts that you'll never know that you made. And it reminded me of this Greek proverb I'd like to share. It said, "A society grows great when people plant trees in whose shade they shall never sit." And I think that encapsulates your career. You will never know how many lives you actually impacted. So I just wanted to say congratulations and thank you.
Very good. Thank you. And with that, we have some, I see that there's a great big plaque right there and we have a proclamation. It's not made out of wood, but wood products. So, so I'd like to do is to not only have my colleagues join us in front, but also the family and friends, whoever would like to join Sharon for a photo. So come on down. Oh, somebody left a phone. It's a, anybody recognize the phone? Oh, okay. There you go. Thank you.
Knows yours was.
All right. Well, it's not quite 10:30, time for our public hearing, so we'll move on to item 6B. This is the HHAP 3 grant.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, Jessica Leon, County Administration. So this item before you has two recommended actions. The first one is recommending of entering into an agreement with CAPMC to help administer and facilitate this grant program for the county. This is round 3. So CAPMC has been entered into an agreement for HAP 1 and HAP 2 as well. And then the second recommended action is a budget adjustment to appropriate the grant funds into the designated budget ORCE to allow for the expenditures. And this agreement would be July 1st, 2023 through June 30th, 2026. And it is no impact to the general fund. It is completely grant funded. So with that, I'm available for any questions.
Very good. Thank you. Are there any questions of Jessica regarding this item? Are there any members of the public who wish to comment? Hearing none, I'll bring it back to the board for action.
I'll move to approve.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call vote, please.
Supervisor Gonzalez?
Yes.
Supervisor Wamhaugh?
Yes.
Supervisor McCauley?
Yes.
Pro Tem Poitras?
Yes,
Vote passes 4-0.
very good. Thank you. It just hit 10:30, so we will now move into public hearings. And item 7A is a hearing to adopt a resolution approving collection of a records fee pursuant to Revenue and Taxation Code Sections 408.3 and 409.
Good morning, Board. I don't generally like to start off my presentations with an apology, but I believe an apology is in order. When you put in legal notices, not a lot of verbiage that you have in there, and without the agenda posting for another 4 weeks. But when you expect, or when you know the item and you know what it's for, it seemed right to me. And so I just want to apologize to the board as well as the public for any confusion that property characteristic made. So I want to reiterate that this fee is for our property characteristic data file that at the end of our role, we have data that is all public data that data companies like to purchase. And our fee, when I was looking at my budget and saw what is this $1,750 in revenue, I found out that 7 companies purchase it for $250. And I asked when that fee had first been, or when it had last been looked at, and it was in 1991 when it was first put in. In the original, so we pulled up the original resolution. It did call out that if you were purchasing it, you would have to provide your own computer magnetic tape. So it was a bit outdated. So this fee, again, 7 companies buy it every year by way of, and it's cost a lot more to maintain that data and provide that data. By way of comparison, Merced County, $5,000 for this data file. In Stanislaus County, it's a 3-year contract with the data company for $15,500. And Fresno, every year, it's 5 cents per parcel. At 302,000 parcels, it's roughly $15,150. So these are the exact same fee. Just to reiterate, not everyone in Fresno pays $15,150 every year for their property characteristic. So it will go up from $250 to $1,250 this year. Next year, another $250 until the end of 5 years. It'll be up to $2,500, which is roughly about 4 cents a parcel in Madera County. So it's consistent with other jurisdictions. And again, I apologize for any confusion, but no homeowner, farmer, business, resident will pay this fee unless they would like to sleep well at night and read the entirety of the property characteristics for Madera County, and then they can purchase it themselves.
Very good. Well, thank you, Mr. Assessor. Any questions from one of my colleagues? Yes, Supervisor.
No question, just a comment saying that I almost billed your office for a new cell phone because my phone melted with phone calls and text messages when this came out. So thank you for being on top of it. And it only lasted for about 24 hours.
Yeah.
So I do appreciate that.
I'll just reiterate that. Thank you for clearing it up so quickly because I had no idea when I was receiving the calls and text messages, I had no idea what they were talking about.
Yeah.
So thank you for clearing it up so quickly. And we were able to provide that information over to the folks.
I'd also like to apologize to my staff because they're still taking phone calls to this very day about it. And they've done a great job. But what was funny after talking to people and realizing this was their data that was being sold because it's public information, by the end of the calls, a lot of times they're like, charge more, so there might be more in there left.
Gotcha. Thank you very much. Yes.
One quick comment. Actually, I was at a meeting with the CEO of Visitors Bureau yesterday, Rhonda Salisbury, and she had a piece of mail that she handed over to me. And it was actually a company that was looking to sell her property characteristics back to her. So probably one of the companies that's purchasing that information. And you did say that we're required to provide that information, but I think one thing you might have left out was that property owners can still get their property characteristics at no charge, right?
Yeah,
So they
and
can go
that's,
there.
by being able to maintain this data through this fee, we're able to, if you want your property characteristics or any resident here that, or landowner, they can come in and get their property characteristics for free.
Very good. Thank you. This is a public hearing. I'd like to open up the public hearing and are there any members of the public who wish to comment on this item?
Nobody
Anybody
online.
online? Okay, very good. I'll close the public hearing and bring it back for action on with the board.
Move to approve.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call vote, please.
Supervisor McCauley,
Yes.
Supervisor Wamha,
Yes.
Supervisor Gonzalez.
Yes.
Pro Tem Poitras.
Yes.
Vote passes 4-0.
Very
Thank you.
good.
And just so you know, lesson learned for me.
Thank you very much. Okay, next item is item 6C, the reaffirmation, appointment and composition of the ARPA committee.
Thank you, Chair and members of the board. Regina Garza, your county counsel. I added this item to recommend to this board just for transparency purposes and making sure the action was listed on the agenda. A reaffirmation of your appointment of a committee during this time when ARPA money is being recommended to the board on how to spend it. There was a request from the board to put a committee together to enhance those efforts, and the 5 members are listed on this item. ACAO, Joel Begay, Jessica Leone. Saw her calling her out here. Supervisor Poitras, your CAO, and Supervisor Wamhoff. So you could make this an ad hoc committee or just reaffirm your appointment, and this committee will continue to inform you about ARPA, and you'll get an update either at the end of this month or early next month from that committee. Happy to answer any questions.
Very good. Thank you. Are there any questions? Seeing and hearing none, are there any questions from the public? None. We'll bring
Nobody online. Sorry.
Okay, very good. We'll bring the item back for action.
Move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call vote,
And
please.
Chair, I'm just going to confirm that move to approve the composition of that was last approved. So the 5 members.
Yes.
Thank you.
Supervisor McCauley,
Yes.
Supervisor Wamha,
Yes.
Supervisor Gonzalez.
Yes.
Pro Tem Poitras.
Yes,
Vote passes 4-0.
thank you. Man, these votes go a lot faster when there's only 4 of us. I won't comment anymore about that. Okay, so item 6D, Human Resources Department, discussion and consideration adopt an ordinance of the Board of Supervisors amending chapter 2.60.580 Title 2 of Madera County Code relating to vacation leave. Roman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, members of the board. Roman Noriega, Human Resources. This item was introduced to your board on June 20th, 2023 as a cleanup item to align the vacation leave language outlined in our county code with the language in all of our MOUs for our represented employees and our salary and benefit resolution that covers our unrepresented employees. The item is now for your consideration and adopt the ordinance amending chapter 2.60.580 of Title 2, the Madera County Code relating to vacation leave.
Thank you. Are there any questions of Roman? There are none. Anybody from the public wish to comment on this item or have a question?
Nobody online.
Nobody online. No questions from the public. I'll bring it back to the board for action.
Move to approve.
A second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call vote, please.
Supervisor Wamha,
Yes.
Supervisor Gonzalez,
Yes.
Supervisor McCauley,
Yes.
Pro Tem Poitras.
Yes,
Vote passes 4-0.
thank you. And item 6C, it's a discussion and consideration of approval to amend the classification plan for Department of Social Services effective July 1st, 2023.
And just to finish reading that into the record, good morning again, Roman Noriega, Human Resources. Item 1 is to amend the classification plan to add the class of Secretary 1. 6E point 2 is to amend the classification plan to remove the class Program Manager Secretary. 3, to set the salary for the classification of Secretary 1 at range 166 CB 20523 at $3,171.01 to $3,800.90 per month, or $37,524.14 to $45,610.84 annually. 4, designate the classification of Secretary 1 as overtime eligible pursuant to the Fair Labor and Standards Act. 5, relocate 4 program manager secretary positions to Secretary 1 per County Code Section 2.57.060, Rule 3 through 10, subsection D. 6, grant the employees below direct status to the position of Secretary 1 per County Code Section 2.570.060, Rule 3 through 11, and subsections B and 3. Employees named here: Elise Huerta, Rosalinda Torres, and Esther Valdiva. 7, discussion and consideration to adopt resolution amending the salary and fringe benefits schedule to add Secretary 1 and remove Program Manager Secretary to the classified service salary schedule. 8, discussion and consideration to adopt a resolution amending the fiscal year 2022 to 2023 schedule of position allocations to add the Secretary 1 position and remove the Program Manager Secretary for the County Department of Social Services.
Thank
And
you,
just-
Director Noriega. I'm just gonna, so you can catch your breath. On item 3, the dollar figure might have been transposed a bit. It's $3,127.01. You might have misspoke, but just for the record.
Oh, thank you, County Council, for catching that. And just to let the board know, our Department of Social Services and Department of Child Support Services are subject to the recruitment and classification standards established by the Cal HR Merit System Services, or MSS. And it recently came to the attention of Human Resources that DSS and MSS class specification of Program Manager Secretary is no longer being used by the MSS. And so after the classification review conducted was HR, was determined that the classification Secretary 1 is comparable to the Program Manager Secretary. And on April 18th, 2023, the Civil Service Commission adopted the class specification for Secretary 1. The salary and classification of Secretary 1 will be set equal to that of the current program manager's salary classification, as there is no change in pay or to the duties that are being performed. And exhibits A and B in the board packet include an updated schedule of position allocations and salary. Sharon Diaz, our DSS Deputy Director, to answer any operational questions that you might have.
Very good. Thank you very much. Are there any questions, comments, clarifications needed? Seeing and hearing none, we'll take it to the public. Any questions, comments? None? I'll bring it back to the board for action.
Move to approve.
A second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call vote, please.
Supervisor McCauley,
Yes.
Supervisor Gonzalez,
Yes.
Supervisor Walmhoff,
Yes.
Pro Tem Poitras.
Yes.
Vote passes 4-0.
Thank you. Thank you, Roman. So move on to 8, pending legislation. Is there anything, Mr. Varney, that we should be aware of?
There's nothing new right now. I believe the legislature does take a recess at the end of this week.
Right. Okay. Very good. I'm sure there'll be something, there'll be fast and furious during the month of August. And so I'm sure there'll be something before us to support or oppose. We'll move on to supervisor reports. I'll start to my right, Supervisor McCauley.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, I've had a busy couple weeks since we've all last gathered. Had a town hall on senior services. We did a lake cleanup out at Bass Lake. And I had a chance to ride in the North Fork Loggers Jamboree Parade with the Grand Marshal, former Supervisor Tom Wheeler, which was a lot of fun. I also wanted to call to the board's attention that Yosemite National Park, NPS, is working through a reservation system they're looking to implement here in the coming years. And so they opened up a public comment period last Thursday. So if anybody's interested in reviewing those materials, providing comment, I believe they have about 60 days to do so. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you. Supervisor Wamhoff.
Yes, busy couple weeks. I participated in in PG&E local leader energy summit, I guess you could call it, but we went and toured Diablo Canyon nuclear power plant. It was very informative, very eye-opening, and it was great to see how 10% of our state's power is supplied, and talked about safety and transmission and all the things that are a part of that as well. So it was really eye-opening, and it really expanding knowledge of how we obtain power. But that was a really informative session. Also on the 27th, I had a town hall at the Riverstone Lodge, had about 100 people there, and it was very successful. Yeah, we got speakers from the Sheriff's Office, Fire Department, Public Works, Root Creek Water District, and talked about all things roads, water, trash, public safety, and everything in between. So it was really successful, and had a great time there. Got a lot of positive feedback on that as well. And I think that's it.
Very good. Supervisor Gonzalez.
Thank you. Just want to commend the Madera Kiwanis and the other service groups that put on the 4th of July fireworks show this past 4th of July. It was very successful. And hopefully that'll become a yearly tradition. We are working with Supervisor Porthos' office to invite the folks who put it all together, because it's been it was a tremendous effort on a lot of people's part. So we want to recognize the people behind the scenes. So that'll be coming before the board for recognition shortly. And then I wanted to announce that tomorrow and Thursday, we will have the first of many scoping groups. Our office is working on establishing a women's commission here in Madera County. We have talked to the state. We've talked to several folks throughout the state of California to see what works for them. And we want something that works for Madera County. So we'll have a lot of scoping groups. We'll work with your offices to see what that looks like within your districts as well to get some input. But we are excited to help formalize a women's commission here in Madera County. So that's tomorrow at 6 p.m. here at the Government Center. And then we'll have another opportunity on Thursday morning. So we'll try to stagger meetings. And again, it's the first of many. And we're taking the lead on this, but by no means are we want input from everyone. So that's what we're doing. So anyone's welcome to join us.
Very good. Thank you. Mr. Varney.
Nothing to add other than everyone should be careful with the excessive heat this weekend.
Right. Council.
No report. Thank you, Chair.
Nothing to report. Nothing to report. And with that, thank you very much for joining us today, and we shall adjourn our meeting. Have a great rest of the day and stay cool.